Hey guys, welcome to a new video. I got a comment here in my community post, and as you guys may or may not know, I'd like to create these inspirational, motivational type community posts. I'm starting to try to do it every day, but like I have the last one here 22 hours ago. I don't think I'll post one today, but yesterday had another post here, which was I think, what was it here? This one. Leave one wolf alive and the sheep are never safe. That's actually a Game of Thrones quote. Shout out to you guys. But I have these community posts where I leave some inspiration in these posts, like this one here, and so many other ones. But regardless, I had a comment on my last community post, and somebody was asking a question here about Redbubble. If they should essentially continue on the path of getting started, uploading, taking it seriously on Redbubble and TeePublic, if there's a chance that they end up going out of business, if they go bankrupt. And I'm going to address the question. First, I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to address it. And it says here, do you think it's a waste of time to work on Redbubble? They seem they're on the path to bankruptcy. Redbubble and TeePublic are the only two platforms available in my country, which is Pakistan. Pretty much every other platform, Amazon, Etsy, Society6, Zazzle, has us blacklisted. My account gets banned upon creation because I'm subhuman for being born in the wrong soil of the world. I feel so disheartened that all my effort may potentially be going down the dumpster. I already got sales on both sites with just 8 designs. I've recently been inspired by your videos. So first of all, Vengeance Enjoyer, shout out to you, and thank you for watching my videos, and thanks for sharing the kind words that you've been inspired by my videos. One of the things that I try to do is I try to perform or provide some sort of motivation. Even though I believe that motivation is fleeting, it's not a permanent thing, I try to help out as much as I can in that arena. Now, let's go ahead and address the question. So first thing, the question is, should I continue essentially trying to put my effort in Redbubble and TeePublic if they may potentially be on the path to bankruptcy? So let's be clear. Redbubble and TeePublic make a lot of money. It might not be profit, but they still generate a lot of income. And if there is a potential that this company goes bankrupt, you want to understand with companies like these, there are always buyers on the market. There's always people waiting to buy the business for pennies on the dollar. There's not too many companies at the level that these companies are at that will essentially, because they're losing money, just shut down the whole operation. It usually never happens. The business is going to be sold to somebody else or some other organization that will buy it and build it. Most of the time. I can't speak for all, but most. Especially with an online business like this. They do have a lot of asset value. They hold a lot of search traffic. They generate a lot of income from search traffic. And frankly, it would be a bidding war if these companies went up for sale. All right, TeePublic, Redbubble, etc. All right. You mentioned that you're not able to get access to other platforms, Amazon, Etsy, Society6, etc. If that's your situation, if you're listening to this, by the way, guys, because this is not just for this person who's asking the question, this is for everybody. If you can't get access to it, you got to make do with what you have, right? I mean, there's not much choice you have right there. You got to make do with what you have. So what do you have? What's the question? You have Redbubble, you have TeePublic. You stated that you uploaded a few designs here and there, and you got some sales. That's a good thing. And you're asking, should I really put all my effort, or maybe I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you're saying, should I work on it, even though it might end up resulting in a waste of time? And my answer is yes, you still should. And I'll explain why. A lot of people might sit here and say, if the result is going to come out in a negative way, meaning let's just say in a magical world where Redbubble and TeePublic go completely bankrupt and their websites don't exist anymore. Let's just say that's the case. And you've done a significant amount of work on these platforms and they don't exist anymore. We want to take the most logical approach to this. If they don't exist anymore, right, you have to still understand that you've walked away with something. It might not be tangible. In fact, you might actually made some tangible monetary value, meaning income, but it's the intangibles that actually matter. It's not the tangibles. And I'll explain what I mean. I have stores. I have different stores. I have private websites and I have stores on Redbubble and TeePublic, etc. Okay, Etsy, you name it. Okay, I've done pretty much it all. I don't say that out of pride. I say that just out of truth. I mean, I've put myself in the ringer. I've done a lot of work, and what I realize is that the individual is the true variable. And what I mean by that, I'll explain. There are certain things that every single person has access to that is individualized to them, skills that you cannot really replicate. And I'll explain. I have the ability to understand how to advertise properly. I understand how to craft the advertisement. I understand how to search for traffic. I understand how to do these things. It just so happens that a lot of people who are on the Redbubble platforms, the Zazzle platforms, the Etsys, the TeePublics, or let's say most of the people, whether they know or they don't know, they don't have the access to do so because they're relying on these platforms. It's fair to say that. I don't have statistical evidence behind this, but it's fair to say. I mean, the reason why these companies are so, I guess you could say, they draw so many people in is because they do pretty much all the work for you, right? And it's an easier solution. Everybody wants a one-and-done, easy solution. That's why they sign up for these things, right? Instead of creating a store, setting up payment processors, doing the ads, doing the SEO, all these kind of things, you could just sign up to a Redbubble, upload a design, job finished, right? The individual that I became, creating my own private websites, doing the things that I was doing, gave me a certain set of assets. And those assets are the intangibles. They're skills that I would have never learned otherwise. In the same notion, if you sit there and you take your effort and your energy that you go to platforms that you don't own, that potentially, once again, could disappear, if you go to these platforms and you do certain work, it would be impossible for you have not to gain some sort of intangibles, some sort of characteristics, some sort of skills, some sort of strategies, methods, or even thought processes that you would have not gained otherwise, right? Unless you're a zombie, you would not have gained these things, meaning by you putting your effort in these arenas, you've gained something. And for that reason, I would say, just because there's a potential of something bad happening, that does not outweigh the chance of you not doing it, because it's the opportunity cost. You're going to gain so much opportunity, not just from an income perspective, but from an effort perspective and from a skills perspective. You have to understand that your life doesn't end here. You're not going to die a week from now, or at least most likely. And nobody's keeping score. And the reality is that you're going to have more opportunities in the future. And Redbubble and TeePublic are fine for now for you to sit there and apply yourself to for now. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. When I was in high school, I was working in a restaurant, an Italian restaurant. And at that moment, if you would have sit there and asked me, do you want to be here? I would have just told you I'm here for the paycheck. I don't really have a negative opinion on it. I don't have a positive opinion. I'm here for the paycheck. But when I was there working every single day, right, there are certain things that I learned that I can't explain to you. I learned how to talk to people. I learned how to see what people want, their desires, their needs. I learned how to work fast, and I learned how to work hard under pressure. There's a lot of things that I learned how to do, and it was beneficial. And these were things that I walked away with that helped me in life, that gave me some sort of power. And when I have a kid or a son or whoever it is that my children, I'm going to encourage them to seek out similar opportunities because that I know it could add them some sort of value. At that moment, the paycheck is not going to be great, but they're not there for just the paycheck. It is a transformation of the identity of the human being, and that identity stays with you. And in the same notion, this is why I would, from a life philosophy standpoint, turn away from certain bad decisions. So I'll give you an example. And I'm going to get intimate with you guys here and very personal. I don't drink. I don't even take a single drink. In fact, the only time in my life I took a drink was in the 4th grade. And I still remember the story. There was a wedding going on in my family, and I was super, super thirsty, and the reception was going to be at something like 8 p.m., and I had not drank anything. We were on the road all day getting to the location of the wedding and all this. And then the second we walked in, right? And everybody's walking in to the reception. We go to the table, and I'm in a table with a bunch of other kids my age, and there's champagne down there, like champagne all over the table, like these glasses. And as a kid, I really didn't care. I maybe drank like, with no exaggeration, maybe like 4 or 5 glasses. And I'm a 4th grader of champagne. And all the other kids, because, they're kids, they know that they shouldn't be drinking, so they just left their drinks there. And the reason why the drinks were there to begin with is because the reception location doesn't know anything about ages of the people who are coming or anything like that, so they just put these things on the table. And I just came in there and I gobbled up like literally like 4 or 5 drinks. And by that time, the waiter came around, took the drinks off the table because we were sour kids, etc. But I had drank pretty much 4 or 5 drinks, and there was like maybe 8 on the table, something like that. But ever since then, I've never taken a drink ever. And it's not because of it's just a moral code that I have. It's just I don't do it, period. And I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else. Just saying it's just something that I don't do, like at all, 0. And every decision I make plays a role in my life, right? And this is like my moral code. This is what I stand on. I don't change no matter what. And one time, I was turning 21, and I had a friend that said, "You got to come out. You got to come out drinking with me. You're already successful. You're already making money. You got to come out. You got to come out. You got to come out." And he kept nagging me. And I said, no matter what, I'm not going to do it. And it's not because there's something wrong with it, but this is my identity. This is what I'm choosing not to do. And in the same notion, because I went through that experience and I chose not to do it under any circumstance whatsoever, that changed me slightly as an individual. It gave one more extra notch to my identity, my personal identity. And once again, there's nothing wrong with personal drinking. I'm just giving this as an example. In the same notion that any logical person could sit here and say, well, it's only one time. That one time that you go out drinking is not going to make a difference in your life. And I would agree. It's probably not going to make a critical difference in my life. And the same notion, by you getting on Redbubble and TeePublic and creating a business, it's probably not going to absolutely change your life. It's very hard to sit here and say that making one decision like getting on a platform will absolutely give you a full 360. But the characteristics that you will gain in that process are the same characteristics that can lead you to that 360 point. Meaning, if you get on Redbubble, if you get on TeePublic, and I'm just making up a scenario here, you could learn certain things that eventually a new platform comes out. You take your skills on that new platform, you get there early, you do very well, you make thousands of dollars, you take those thousands of dollars, you invest it, you retire off it, whatever the case may be, right? And so the point here is just because the outcome of something is not guaranteed, that does not mean you should not do it. And this whole thought process arrives from one thing. It's expectation. If you walk into something with expectation or entitlement, then you feel like you deserve something, and that should not be the case. So with everything you do in life, whether it's this business, print on demand, or any other business, you have to realize that nobody owes you anything. Not these platforms, not anybody. Right? And every point of success is going to be derived from you and you only. And if you're truly worried about some companies going bankrupt, well, there's an alternative. You can create your own website, and your own website is going to be the determinant. So, yes, if I were you, I would go on TeePublic and Redbubble. Nobody said that they were the only platforms you had to be on. Once again, you could do it. You could do them simultaneously with creating your own website. And what you can do also is you can upload to all of them and profit off of all of them. Who said that it can't be done? You absolutely could. But just because one platform is potentially going on the path of bankruptcy doesn't mean you should quit. Now, I'm all about logic. It's not on the path to bankruptcy whatsoever. Okay, so let's just be clear. Yes, are they doing bad or worse than they were before? Sure. But the whole world is right now. Right now, this is a down market. Things are not optimal right now. And you got to just be level-headed, right? Just because something is decreasing slightly doesn't mean that you should just, light up into flames and worry and freak out. And I mean, we see this so much on YouTube. One person makes a video about something. I could just use the Canva example, and then everybody goes nuts. and something small changes and everybody goes crazy and they cancel their accounts and they, go on strikes and do crazy stuff. Just be level-headed with everything. Everything that you do, be level-headed. And you say, what is the worst? What is the best outcome here? And with a platform like Redbubble and TeePublic, you're probably going to gain more than you actually lose. If you are on these platforms like Redbubble and TeePublic, it probably means that you have excess amount of time in your life. And this excess amount of time, you could use it. You can use it to benefit yourself. And once again, it's not just the income. It's not the monetary. It's not the tangible. It's the intangible that really makes the difference. And a lot of people might say, well, why are you so all about this inspiration, motivation type stuff? It's because it's the only thing that I could use to push myself when I was at my darkest time, at my darkest moments, trying to become successful with no success coming my way. And I start every business the same, where I'm always thinking that I'm going to put my best effort into this and see what the results are. I don't expect a certain outcome. And when I say expect a certain outcome, I do expect that I become successful, but I don't believe that it should just come to me. I fully believe that I'm going to have to go out there, I'm going to have to work for it, and I'm going to have to sweat and grind and maybe even bleed for it, but I'm willing to do that, and I'm going to struggle for it. And I think that you should do the same, and hopefully this video helped. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out. Bye.